Welcome to ETH Daily, a daily briefing on the latest in Ethereum. Here's your latest for Thursday, January 8th, 2026. The Optimism Foundation proposes an OP token buyback. ADI Chain partners with M-Pesa. SharpLink deploys $170 million on Linea. And Vitalik Buterin calls for increasing bandwidth over reducing latency. All this and more starts right after this message. This episode is sponsored by Archive, an Ethereum-aligned data layer for Web3. Archive merges guarantees of blockchain with the performance and flexibility of traditional databases. Find out more at archive.network/daily. The Optimism Foundation published a proposal to direct 50% of incoming superchain revenue towards OP token buybacks, aiming to align the token's value with superchain growth. Optimism governance will later decide whether to burn or redistribute the purchased tokens. In the past year, the superchain has collected 5,868 Ether in revenue. Beyond the token buybacks, the proposal seeks to grant the Optimism Foundation the power to actively manage the remaining ETH in the Optimism treasury. The proposal goes live for a governance vote on January 22nd. If approved, the 12-month buyback program will launch as soon as February using 50% of January's revenue. Disclosure: ETH Daily is an OP token holder and delegate. ADI Chain, an EVM Layer 2 network powered by GPU computing, announced a partnership with M-Pesa Africa, the largest mobile money platform across Africa, to power cross-border payment settlement on-chain. ADI Chain provides compliance-ready and institutional-grade infrastructure for real-world assets. ADI Chain is also the host of a dirham-backed stablecoin developed by First Abu Dhabi Bank and IHC. ADI Chain is built on zk-Sync's Elastic Network, leveraging Airbender, zk-Sync's RISC-V-based zkVM. SharpLink Gaming deployed $170 million worth of Ether from its strategic ETH reserve onto Linea, a zk EVM rollup developed by Consensus. The deployment aims to earn staking yield and higher risk-adjusted returns through EigenCloud, with direct incentives from Linea and EtherFi. Custody of the deployment is managed by Anchorage Digital. SharpLink Gaming is also a member of the Linea Consortium, which manages the Linea Ecosystem Fund containing 75% of the Linea token supply. With 863,000 ETH in its treasury, SharpLink is the second largest corporate holder of Ether. Linea is the third largest validity rollup with nearly $700 million in total value secured. And lastly, Vitalik Buterin called for prioritizing bandwidth expansion over latency reduction on Ethereum. Vitalik says that zero-knowledge proofs allow for massive scaling without violating the laws of physics or compromising decentralization, whereas reducing latency faces much harder physical and social constraints. He added that any application requiring sub-second performance will need to use off-chain components. In other news, Morpho achieves 1 million verified humans on its lending protocol, and Obol releases Charon version 1.8.0 of its DV client. This has been a roundup of today's top news stories in Ethereum. You can support this podcast by subscribing and following us at ETH Daily. Also subscribe to our newsletter at ethdaily.io.